Hello to everybody, and we're already at Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Season 2, Episode 1, The Mutation Situation. Now I can't wait to talk about this entire season. There's so many episodes I want to talk about as these weeks go on. I definitely really liked Season 1, but Season 2 definitely gets bigger. So it's basically about the Turtles are kind of bored and getting kind of lazy until Splinter kind of scolds them for it, and then they have to go on a mission, even when they're just doing simple stuff. It's just cruising around the city, having fun. But eventually when they meet up with April's her dad's becoming really overprotected over her because he spent an entire season captured by the Krang. And so the Turtles are like, she'll be fine. And they're worried the Krang is going to return, and you just know they're going to return. And Shredder. Looks like Shredder and Karai are back. And Shredder's just got some plans, of course. He's working with the Krang still. And so, meanwhile, the Turtles are using this snowball thing from a few episodes ago, where it helps them track if there's Krang activity. And so the Turtles then go start looking, and then they find one of those drone things who are invisible Krang ship. So the Turtles go on it, and I love this scene where they're just ready. They are ready to fight the Krang. And meanwhile, April and her dad are keeping watch. And then the Turtles have to fight a sort of monkey-looking Krang robot. It also has butt cannon. So there are some butt jokes in this, but it doesn't really bother me. But it's alright. And it's definitely a different way of exploring a different Krang, other than just the robots and tiny brains. And so the Turtles are struggling to fight it, and even Raph is getting swanged around, and he looks, honestly, if that was real life, you'd be super tired, exhausted, and feel like you need to puke. That would look painful to go through. And then the Turtles make probably the biggest mistake in this season. They accidentally dump a bunch of mutagen out of a Krang ship, and that becomes the plot later in this season. We're looking for mutagen, so people or other animals don't turn into mutants. And something horrible happens. The canister hits April's dad, and he becomes a mutant bat, the Kirby bat. That's definitely a different kind of villain. And Leo's even Leo says something like, "Oh, you don't need middle-aged bats." And so the Turtles do try to catch Kirby, and they're kind of afraid to tell April since it's the fodder. And so Mikey gets this new alter ego, Trifidal, where he wears these pizza-looking wings. He's got his goggles, his little headband thing. It's adorable. And I love the scene where he says, "I could do this, buzz buzz." And then Raph is just "Quit saying buzz buzz." You just tell Raph's super annoyed by Mikey. And so the Turtles, I think, do catch Kirby Bat, and he does meet with April. He tries to give her food, but it seems when April's dad got mutated, he lost some of his intelligence. He can't speak properly. The mutagen just affects him. You can just tell. And April's just even kind of yells at her dad in a way, because she just wants a normal life. And seeing her dad get mutated is just heartbreaking for her. And so the Turtles do catch Kirby and put him in not really a dog cage, but a cage. And then Mikey accidentally says that they spilled mutagen. And of course, April gets mad and then says, I never want to see you guys again. And Donnie's so disappointed. Like, you know how he loves April in a kind of creepy way. Like, he even knows how far her house is in this episode. And so, yeah, April and the turtles' relationship is strained. Like, April was clearly overreacting. But then again, her dad got mutated and it was the turtles' mistake. This one leads to the next few episodes where they start dealing with newer mutants. Like the squirrelanoids, which is set up for the next episode, which I can't wait to talk about. Invasion of the squirrelanoids. Honestly, that episode may be one of my favorites. But what do I think of this episode? I think it's a very fun episode. It's a nice start to the turtles. And it's a nice storyline of April and the turtles' relationship. Like, we see the change in it, for sure. Typical drama, yes, but it's interesting still. It's nice to see Krang and Shredder still the villains. It gives the turtles missions and more adventures, for sure. And the mutant stuff is definitely a good storyline. So I'd probably rate this episode like a 7 out of 10 or an 8 out of 10. There's definitely some funny moments, for sure. So with that said, thanks for watching, and Turtle Power.